Hello and welcome to the channel. It's the Eradicator. Under this video we will exceptionally talk about a game that I would normally cover on my other channel, The Eradicators, where I'm creating a full walkthrough, but since I've finished it, or at least the main part, and I really tremendously enjoyed it, I thought that I could make a little review here on my main channel. So today I will be reviewing for you a total conversion, reimagined version of the legendary 1994 space combat sim Star Wars TIE Fighter.
Alert! Incoming ships. They're Narwhal Raiders. All TIE fighters, break formation and engage.
For those of you who are unaware of what TIE Fighter is, it's basically one of the most beloved Star Wars games of all time. And every time a list of best Star Wars games pops out, TIE Fighter is almost systematically amongst the top 3, if not on top of the list. And the reason why this game was so successful is not because the game puts you into the shoes of a zealous, loyalist and devoted Imperial TIE Fighter pilot. It's in fact its sheer degree of immersion, the impression of truly being part of this well-oiled machine that is the Galactic Empire, while at the same time be constantly reminded that you are just one tiny pawn and that the galaxy could do without you as well. It's a feeling of constantly being under pressure by your commanders, with hopes of finally them seeing your talents, and it's also the story itself, which does not revolve around, your classic Imperials versus Rebels setup, but in fact goes far deeper into conspiracies and machinations within an empire that may not be as united as it may seem. The game is all about events that happen within the Star Wars lore, with well-placed Easter egg characters that some fans of the old expanded universe will appreciate, with no agenda to bring us back to modern-day societal problems, and that, in 2021, is also truly a much-appreciated breath of fresh air. Unfortunately, the game is also now almost 30 years old, and obviously nowadays looks, plays and feels dated, which is why there have been attempts at recreating it as a total conversion mode within other games, and so here we are here in 2021 with this total conversion mod for X-Wing Alliance, a sequel of TIE Fighter released in 1999 with much more powerful engine that allows for what you are seeing here on the screen right now.
All pilots report to debriefing. All pilots report to debriefing.
Now, earlier it was mentioned that this is a reimagined version of the game, and this is something that I think should really point it out, because let's face it, expectations in 2021 are not the same as those people had in 1994, and with all the hype that surrounds this amazing mod, one could assume that there will be quite a few people who will pick X-Wing Alliance for $5 or $10 and then download it and play the mod for and TIE Fighter for the first time. That is why Angel, the lead developer of the mod, made a decision to update the game content with modern assets and enhanced missions. For example, throughout the campaign, players regularly face ships that come straight from the Clone Wars era, which was something that was impossible in 1994 simply because the prequel trilogy was still barely in its infancy stage and thus obviously had not been released. Also, the original game engine of TIE Fighter greatly limited the amount of assets that could simultaneously be rendered at the same time, which prevented the creation of large-scale battles. The X-Wing Alliance engine, however, makes that possible, and so Angel decided to combine several missions that had to be separated into one, while adding extra capital ships and fighter squadrons for extra immersion and awesomeness, while keeping the balance and the overall difficulty that so many people enjoyed, and the result ends up being truly spectacular. Another thing that ought to be noted, X-Wing Alliance fans will notice that the game looks much more modern than the original X-Wing Alliance, and that is because the mod can only run with the latest version of X-Wing Alliance upgrade. This is a mod that has been in development for over 20 years now, and the results are quite phenomenal too. Not only have all of the game's assets been recreated with far more details and precisions, but the developers also created a very impressive looking set of backdrops of famous planets of the Star Wars lore, as well as some most impressive graphic shaders that make some of Star Wars' special effects like laser beams or engine effects larger than life. In fact, it is so beautiful compared to the original games, and sometimes even compared to the recently released Star Wars Squadrons, that I have often lost tracks of the events that happened in the game just because I was looking around at the game world, completely carried away into this galaxy far, far away.
Another bandit down.
On top of the beautiful models and graphics, it is also worth noting that thanks to the X-Wing Alliance upgrade mode, TIE Fighter Total Conversion is also playable in VR. That's right, it has full VR support, and you no longer need a joystick to play it. You can also play it with mouse and keyboard, as the mouse now emulates a joystick just like in Star Citizen, although I would of course recommend you to use one if you have one, just for the sake of the immersion. Angel also redid the voice acting of the game, going as far as voicing Darth Vader himself, and I think he did an amazing job here. I mean, it feels very professional and gives the impression it could have been done by a professional studio, which is also very impressive.
Alpha One, come with me. We will eliminate these traitors.
Now, for those of you who may think it could be overwhelming to install so many mods at once, the developers have actually created an installer that does it all for you. Even I, who is usually quite reluctant to installing mods because I find them too complicated to manage, was able to install everything with ease. Angel also created some very detailed tutorial videos that really guide you step by step. The mod also gets continuous support with regular updates. The updates gets also installed via an auto installer, so the only thing you need to do is to download the updates and run the executable file, and you are ready to go within a few minutes. And so here was my review of TIE Fighter Total Conversion for X-Wing Alliance. This may be a remake of an almost 30-year-old game, but what a breath of fresh air in a world in which games need to be easy, politically correct, and please as many people as possible. The developers of this mod managed to perfectly recreate that feeling of being part of the mighty galactic empire and kept the challenges and overall difficulty players had to face all these years ago. It is truly an amazing piece of art, and if you played these old Star Wars games, like you like space combat simulators, or if you just enjoy Star Wars in general, it definitely is a must-have. You must try it out. That's all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. A big shout out to Dr. Forbit for upgrading his pledge on Patreon, and also Tala for his sponsorship. I will see you tomorrow on the channel for more content. This is the Eradicator. I'll see you guys later.
They may attack the Emperor's transport. Protect that transport with your life, Alpha One.
This is 4. Order acknowledged.